I appreciate y'all being here. What's up, y'all? AWB, I'm back at it. On this stream, I just want to pretty much talk about um the accident I had in Thailand and how it basically almost took me out. I was almost gone. Yeah, I was in a coma for over a month. Um, it was just terrible. And when I started regaining consciousness, like when I not right when I woke up from the coma, but as time was getting closer to me leaving the hospital, I was realizing like how bad the situation actually was. Like I didn't know that I had brain bleeding or skull bleeding. I'm not gonna say brain bleeding because I don't know if my brain was bleeding, but I know I had skull uh, bleeding. Um, yeah, and like the whole recovery process was what I'm still going through the recovery process, but it was when I didn't, you know, when you're in a situation like that, you don't realize how how bad it actually was. Um, like when I got out the hospital, I barely could walk. Um, yeah, so I had a a four-legged walker thing that I was using, and I was barely moving, even with that. Um, so so a couple weeks later, I ended up getting I got some medication, or uh, they would give me I would get this injection that that um I had to use, and it's just a needle, and it goes like on my left and right side, um, kind of level with my belly button, but not by my belly button. Uh, well, so who's all in here? Y'all say what's up. Um, but yeah, this was during the time that you know I really seen how impactful God has been in my life. Um, God has helped me in so many terrible situations. Um, I've been through a lot of tragic situations. Matter of fact, the reason I was in me too. I'm I appreciate that, man. I'm glad I'm here too. Um, but the major reason I was in Thailand was that's where I went like a few months after my my mom passed away. Uh, she passed away from cancer. So I just I wanted to get away, and I wanted to just go and see the world. I always thought about Thailand, and I was always planning to go eventually. But when that happened, that kind of just rushed me into it. So yeah, so that's why I ended up there. I ended up there, and when I was over there, I was just really reconnecting to God. Um, but it was a like, um Like I was in Bangkok for a month. Then I moved out to Jomtien Beach, and that was a nice area. It was like Miami, uh, not like Miami, but it was by the beach, and it reminded me of Collin Drive in Miami. Uh, and I was that's when I was focusing on my writing and creating the content I'm creating now. So that's it, bro. Yeah, appreciate that, y'all. Um, I'm trying to think when I first got out of the hospital, you know, I still didn't realize that I still need to heal. I thought that I would be up and walking and no problem. I wasn't even aware that I had I had brain. I'm not gonna say brain damage, but I had a I had a skull injury where they had to stop the bleeding in my skull. When I was in the hospital, they they had a they had uh put a tube in my right lung, so I was hooked up to a tube. They had a some tube that went down my throat to, I don't know what that tube was for. I guess it was eating or whatever. But they were actually gonna go ahead and do a surgery on my neck to they were talking about doing something to make it easier for me to breathe. But I was thankful that my family uh was checking on, and my family told them not to do that. Yeah, it was rough. But thankfully my girlfriend at the time was able to get in contact with my family, and I was thankful for that because if 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 she never got in contact with them, I don't know if I would be even be here. I I would be just I'll be in a terrible situation, and nobody would know because how would they? Then even if they were worried about me and they came and saw me, where would they start looking? I'm still here because God wanted me to be here. That's all I can say. Because it was so many elements. Even when I crashed, like I was laid out on the road for a while before the ambulance came and got me or anything. And I'm a foreigner in a foreign country, so the the other party that was involved in the accident, mind you, they were okay. Um, they went to the hospital, I think, and got checked out, but they were able to go home like pretty much the next day. And I didn't, I didn't. The accident was at the end of May, and I didn't get out the hospital till the middle of July. That day was probably the end of May, and that's when it happened. Um, yeah, I noticed when I first was able to get back online and do a stream, uh, I had got demonetized and everything. I don't know what was going on with that, but I ended up getting demonetized, and I didn't get remonetized until October. So Mm. So I was like demonetized for like 3 months. You know, even with I was having a lot of speech problems. That's why I didn't. That's really why I didn't want to go live. I was having a lot of issues with my speech, and I still do now. It's just not as bad, and it's getting better as I'm healing. But yeah, it was that bad. Let me see. I think my speaker wasn't there. So, so hopefully my speaker. Yeah, the whole recovery process. So every day I'll pretty much I wouldn't lay in bed, but I wouldn't really go anywhere. I really couldn't move that much, honestly. I had to force myself to like physical therapy. I had to force myself like back moving around and a whole bunch of stuff like that. Um like I just appreciate everybody for being here and y'all being supportive of me. I had a whole bunch of people from who've been uh with me from like the beginning of this when I first started uh when I first was making content. Uh, that's how I know if somebody is new or not because they say, "Oh, what you doing? You stealing content?" I, what are y'all talking about? Because I'm watching the video with y'all, and for them to not know that, and I'll send them the playlist. I have a playlist of audits of a playlist of audits that I did, or when I was going out and creating the content myself. That was never a difficult thing for me. You know, auditing or going out and exercising my rights wasn't my wasn't what I used for stream of income at all. Like so when I would create content, that would be like on an off day for me. So it always tripped me out when people act like or when people would say things like that. It would just really trip me out. And I knew that they obviously uh didn't didn't know what I was about and they didn't support what I was doing anyway. Yeah, but people are making it seem like all I all I did on my channel was go out and or all I did on my channel was watch other videos. That's that makes no sense. And if you are a follower of my channel, you know I didn't start my channel by just watching other content. That's not what I did. I actually went out and gathered that and gathered my own content. I'll go out to all these places. Go to City Hall, the DMV. I'll go to courthouses. I'll go to all these places and exercise my rights. And y'all see it. Sometimes it went well, but sometimes it didn't. Um, like now, I wish I could do that now, but being that I'm battling with so many different things right now, I don't think it would be in my best interest to go out and try to do that right now because you never know how it could turn out. Because love the Thailand tours. Yeah, like I would go live uh while I was over there. I I didn't just go to Thailand. I went to Laos and I went to Cambodia. Uh, I would recommend going to Laos. I wouldn't recommend. I can't. I can't really recommend Cambodia because the city that I flew into Cambodia, I didn't like it at all. Um, it wasn't much scenery. It um like it was nothing. Uh, Not nothing. I'm not going. Let me not say that. But it didn't really. Cambodia didn't really have a lot of trees. Didn't have any mountains that I could see. It didn't have. All they had was a river, and the river didn't look uh like it wasn't a river where people going out and going swimming in. Uh, I could say the people there were it was okay, but I didn't really get a good experience in Cambodia. It might have just been the city I was in. Um, but in Laos, um, I flew into the main city in Laos, and it was phenomenal. Uh, from the way they would treat me at the airport, uh, all the way until like even where I stayed at, it was nice. Um, that's when I did a lot of I did a lot of live streams in Laos. Um, and that was like around like January time. But all I can say for sure that it was like around the beginning of last year is when I was in Laos. Uh, but the rest of that time I was in Thailand. Uh, and if I didn't go live on YouTube, I was going live like I was writing every day, and I would go live. I would do like a live stream of me writing, and I would do that on like Facebook and stuff. What can I say? Like right now, uh, as far as my health goes, I'm able to walk around now, but not for that long, and it takes my body a while to adjust to when I go for a walk. Like the first my first few steps are like stiff and it's hard to move around. Then I start loosening up as I walk more. Uh, even when I was sleeping, I wasn't really able to sleep well. Uh, Even though I had to sleep a lot, like I would get up and go do stuff, and then I didn't realize how much energy that was taken out of me, and I just had to go back and like just rest and go to sleep. Yeah, but I didn't have any broken bones, so that's a good thing. No broken bones. Um, I really didn't get all the X-rays that they took of me, so I don't I don't really know exactly what they saw, and when I got X-rayed at the hospital and stuff. So now that I got back here, I'm trying to go about that process now, but it's 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 been more of a headache than anything. But what I can say is God is good. God is great. Uh, if you haven't already, build a relationship with God. Um, that's the only thing that's the only way that I was able to overcome what I've been going through and dealing with it. Is it's not just I'm this super strong person. Um, it's just God has God has had his I just been able to be aware of God even when I wasn't, you know. How can I say this? It's just you. I just learned to get closer to God and build a better relationship with God. Because like I have a video, like I don't think I'm gonna put that on YouTube, but I have a video of me, like videos of me in the hospital. Um, like you can see I'm all wired up and they got tubes all on me. My like I'm just laying on bed, like I don't have conscious, like my eyes are slightly open, but it's like my eyes are rolled back to the back of my head. Yeah, he's still with us a lot of time, but not how they value lives. Um, you know, Thailand is different. Like that's why I'm saying it's very different, and you got to know it was difficult. Like even in the hospital, you might run into a few people who really care about your well being, and want to see you do better. Then you have some people who don't really. It seems like they don't really care. Um, it, that hospital experience was a rough experience. Even in the hospital, like I was in a at first they had me in like I don't know what you want to call that area, but it's like an area where they have like a whole bunch of sick people, and it wasn't until my family came later and I got my own separate room, and that's when I started getting better care. But when I first got there, it was you got to think you're a foreigner, you don't speak the language, and they don't speak your language, so you can't really say nothing to them, and can't really tell them nothing. Uh, like if they were to ask me about prior injuries or things I was dealing with, I couldn't really tell them. Uh, but it's a good thing. Like, but before that accident, I always maintained good health. I ate good. I worked out every day. Um, and I think that's probably part of the reason I made it through it. Because I don't even I don't even want to imagine going through any of that and not being in good health. I think I lost like 20 pounds in there. I'm I'm happy I'm still able to eat, and I was able to eat. I just couldn't eat that much. Um, even when I would start having conversations with people, it I I wasn't I couldn't make the thoughts. I couldn't make the words come out for the thoughts that I was having at the time. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I was having difficulty with that when I first got out the house. Well, when I first came out the coma, and I was trying to talk. Um, but even then, I thought I was okay, but I wasn't. Oh yeah, I didn't. I don't know if I told y'all, but I was I was on the scooter when I had the accident. So it's not like I was in a car or anything like that. In Thailand, it pretty much almost everybody has a scooter or motorbike, and that's when I had my accident. I was on the motorbike, and when I hit, when I had the accident on the motorbike, I you see when I went down, Like I rode so far. Like it was crazy how far I moved from where I first had the accident at how much my body just rolled and tumbled. Like my arm, like one of my arms was up in the air. Like it was crazy. I think that's why I have some difficulty with this arm right here, with my right arm. But it was really a brutal accident. I didn't realize it until I saw that video of me actually crashing, to where I saw the video of me um, when I had first got to when I first got to the hospital and the condition I was in. Uh, my family came and saw me, but it was really only my dad and his wife. It was just a terrible situation to be in. Like I'm that's why I'm so thankful right now that God is obviously been a great part of my recovery, me being alive today, and seeing me through this process. Um, oh yeah, but let me tell y'all about kind of what I was dealing with at the time. So when I was when I was 25, a week, like maybe a week after my birthday, uh, my oldest sister was murdered. So when that happened, that kind of I didn't go against God, but I kind of turned away from God. I didn't really at that point. I don't think I really had a connection with God like I did, like I do now, or like I for the past few years. Pretty much after that happened, that was kind of it for me. Um, I'm still a good people. Like I, I believed in God. I just was I wasn't I didn't know. I didn't know about God. I wasn't reading my Bible or anything like that. So it was I didn't know how to deal with that situation. Um so after all that, then it wasn't last year, but the year before is when I that's when my mom passed away. And that's what made me reconnect with God. When my mom passed away, I know that she was somebody who believed in God and always wanted me to have that connection and, and be able to, you know, accept God and be receptive of his teaching or the words that God would say to us. Um, for a long time, I just relied on my own ego and thinking I knew everything, even when I didn't. Yeah, so that was my. I wasn't planning on staying in Thailand that long. I stayed in Thailand for over a year, and the only thing, what really made it last a lot longer, was me having that accident. Because I had the accident in May. I probably would have left Thailand probably around my birthday in July. So I would have been there maybe a month. I mean, a year and 6 months maybe. It ended up being longer because I had to sit there and recover. I couldn't just hop. I couldn't just hop on the plane and fly back to the States because the condition I was in. I don't know if anybody has ever taken that flight, but it's pretty much a 24-hour flight, uh, a whole day that you're going to be flying. So I definitely wasn't in a condition to just hop on that flight and to be shipped back to the States. So I took a couple months, and I was slowly recovering over there. Like I was able to start walking again over there. Uh, but even now I can't really exercise like I usually exercise. I can't really uh, I'm not as mobile as I was. Uh, and like even now, like when I sit for too long, it's some I'm not it's hard to get up. That's what I could say. When I sit for too long, it's hard to get up. Um, which was never a thing for me. Like the condition I was in after this surgery, I have I haven't been in that condition before. You know, it it was terrible. Even like even when I was younger, I had surgery. I had back surgery when I was younger, and even then, like I was good to go. I wasn't good to go, but I recovered a lot quicker then. But that surgery was when I was like 11 or something like that. And, you know, it's a lot different when you're older. I'm in my 30s now, so I don't know if y'all can see it, but during when I had that accident, what happened? I ended up hitting my and cracking his tooth, which is crazy to me. I'm like, dang, how I cracked my tooth. But I'm thankful that if this is like one of the bad, least things that happened to me. But and and it cracked, but it didn't crack deep enough for it to be like where I had to have his tooth removed and everything like that. So I'm happy about that. But I'm used to having really nice teeth. So I want to share this video. This while I take a break from talking so much. This video is about the police being called on video, but this stream was really about me talking about uh me recovering from my accident in Thailand. Uh yeah, it was rough. I'm blessed to still be here. I'm blessed to be able to use I'm able to walk around and that I can use my brain and think. Um when a few months ago I would have never knew uh I didn't really know where I was going. Um yeah man, it was a rough situation. But I'm back, uh and I'm trying to make content as often as possible. I really right now I can't get out and go go to these public buildings like I normally would do, only because I physically can't do it, and I'm not sure. I don't want to take the chance of them not. I can't take the chance of the cops breaking the law. Honestly, that's pretty much it. I can't. I know that cops show up and the main thing they're gonna do is probably break the law, and you have to know that that's a possibility. And I always knew that going out before, um, but now I'm dealing with a lot of health health things that may have may push this in a direction that I don't want to go, and So yeah, with that being said, AWB, I'm out. I appreciate everybody who checks out these streams and checks out the content, and share the content if you feel like it's something to share. Um, Also, if you want to become a member, that'll help me out a lot. Uh, yeah, this book is just about us uh, knowing our rights and how to exercise our rights.